All right, thank you all for coming. Call meeting to order. I have a couple things.
It's my turn.
Oh, that's right, you got the other election commission meeting, go ahead.
Okay. So what I need is just the approval of my election inspectors, and you all have a copy of those names. So I have Laura Corella as my chair, Danielle Feller, Democrat, Tamara Anderson, Republican, Patty Gore, Democrat, Marjorie Payne, Republican, Mary Soul, Democrat, Harry Cruz, Republican, Martha Kent, Republican, and Karen McPherson, Republican, and Catherine Rice, Democrat.
I'll make a motion to approve that slate of electors. Marilyn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any public comment? Okay, motion to adjourn?
7:01.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we'll call the regular meeting in order. I have a couple things to correct on the minutes. Under salary resolutions, it should say that the motion to approve the salary resolutions with no changes from the prior year was motioned by Nick, seconded by Jason. And it should be, it was a roll call vote with all members of the board stating aye. It should state the supervisor's salary of 16, the treasurer's of 18.8, the clerk's of 18.8, and the trustees of 29, 23, 28. So we just need to make those corrections to the minutes. And then for the agenda, I have two more items to add. They're not major things. We're gonna put the logs up for bid, the ones at the park and the ones here. Are we gonna combine the package? Is that what we're doing, to get all the wood, one person?
Probably.
Okay, so all the wood here at the township, the wood at the station, and we will take, let's see, what's the date today? The 9th?
Rich, sorry. We might have to change that because some of them logs over at the park, they're gonna be too big for anything to move.
We can't move with our tractor?
They're bigger than the ones that I moved over here the first time from the first load.
We cut them in half?
Sure. Yeah. There's a couple of slabs over there that are.
Huh? We can't hear you guys.
Okay. We are going to sell the firewood.
Okay.
At the park. Okay, so we'll put it up for bids. Today is the 9th. Let's end the, I wanna have it done before the 4th of July though. We're just gonna have to approve it at the next meeting, that's all. So the bids are due before, what is the next meeting? When is the
4th of July.
Yeah, it's the 14th?
Yes.
14th of July, that's fine, I'll get it moved. I have to put it in. So they'll be so the bids have to be in at 12, by the 12th, or by the 14th at 6 p.m. Yep, 14th of July at 6 p.m.
I thought they wanted it done before the 4th.
So, well, we're gonna vote on that, that's down here under, put the logs up for sale, that is the 4th thing on the agenda. The 5th thing, or I'm sorry, that's the 3rd thing. The 5th thing will be a new copier, because our copier decided after 20-some years, our big copier, about 20 years old that thing is? Yeah.
It sounds like a dying
It
count.
doesn't work, and they don't have a lot of parts to fix it, so it's time to get a new one. So we'll put that as the 4th thing on the agenda, on the new business. Okay. All right, so now I just need a motion to approve with the couple added items and the corrected minutes. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. Motion approved. All right, so let's go right into reports. Chief's got some good news for us.
Well, we are at 187 runs already this year.
That's not the good news.
2024, the department ran 411 runs. We are almost 17% over that already this year. So Yolo Township Fire Department and Rescue Department has been very busy. Structure fires, brush fires, a lot of medical calls. Otherwise, everything is going very well. We applied for a drone through the Revenue Sharing Board. And we were granted the funding to purchase a drone. That drone will help us on our search and rescue operations. When we get somebody lost out in the woods, somebody stuck on the river with something broke or something going on. So that will be a very helpful tool in our pocket of tools that we have. And so, we're gonna send a few people in to get trained on it right away. And so, but otherwise, that's pretty much what's happening here, I believe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tim, custodian transfer station,
Couple of things, the new door is in at the backwater's outhouse.
Thank you.
Probably a good thing that we kind of changed it to the swing in, because that'll help with the wind catching it and ripping it off the hinges like it did last time. Working on getting the beach dock lined back up with the concrete that came out. And now, of course, after the rain, the piece that I put in there is almost floating away again because the water came up that much already. It's just probably floating over top of that section of the dock again, which it was under it. This is just quick for the fireworks. He hit me up the other day on the depth of the dock over there. It's probably 6 inches underwater yet. So they'll have to put the boots on and walk out there, and you can still walk on the dock and get the fireworks ready. But
hopefully it comes out.
yeah, the flowers and stuff out here in the pots and the 2 sections over at the beach, thanks to Luann Brower for volunteering her time and taking care of those, cleaning them up.
I'm sorry, what's her name?
Luann Brower. She tried fixing up the ones on the corner, but she just stopped me the other day and said, round it up, I'm gonna start over. So, thanking her for that. And of course, the transfer station, all the people that helped on that, that'll probably get brought up more tonight, but they needed the thanks. Star for getting the helpers that we had. We had probably between 10 and 12 people. 2 of them I didn't know about. They just kind of filled in, and it was great. I think we cranked people through pretty fast. 5 trucks there all at once. I think the positioning of them worked out great. I didn't hear very many complaints.
I didn't hear any.
I mean, there's always gonna be some, but it went very well. The recycle, through Patnos was full. I had to do my best to take the buck of the tractor, which barely reaches, and squish and shove, which, by the way, Star, you'll probably see that, like, it takes them like a month. You're probably gonna maybe see a bill, but then see money come back, cause whatever was in it will hopefully pay for the rental of it and the hauling it here. The only other thing that I had is last month when I was on vacation, a few things were mentioned to me that were brought up in the meeting. Somebody said to go watch the video. I didn't have to watch the video because 6 people came up to me. I don't know if some of that stuff would have been mentioned if I was here. If so, great. If not, I can handle it. It's every year, before Memorial Day, where there's leaves, or there's sticks, it gets taken care of. Thank the board, I believe that there will be help, which is great, we'll get it done maybe a little bit sooner. People need to realize that leaves blow, leaves don't fall off of trees, especially oaks. We live in the Manistee National Forest, and I got pictures and videos on my phone of a snowstorm in March. I did leaves in March, we got snowstorm in March, and then I did leaves again. And then it went into me being at a gas station for 45 minutes, which I would never do, because there's too many eyeballs in this town for me to do anything like that. That's all I got.
Okay.
Can I point out that when we all got there Saturday for the spring cleanup, since you weren't there to facilitate everything, Tim took charge and posted people where they needed to be, and Tim was all over the place helping everybody. And I really think that because of Tim's leadership Saturday, everything went as smoothly as it did.
Yes, I had multiple compliments about how well things went with the 5 trucks. It was great. Your call putting 5 trucks in there made it fly. I think that was one of the big things, and they want to help again. So.
Like I said, from what I understand, we paid for most of that anyhow. We paid for the drivers just sitting there, so why not have them here?
Yep.
I think, well, not think, one truck left full, and I tried finding out how the other ones were, but then by the time I was gonna check, Christian Funk was one of them, so he was greatly getting out, all the drivers come up, get out and help. I wanted to find out approximately where they were on being full. I'm pretty sure all 4 of them, or 5 of them were pretty close, so.
Thank you, Tim. Yep. And everything does look great right now. And you helped with all the little projects I've given you this week too. I really appreciate that. Okay, we are now down to Management Council. June is a pretty busy month. Again, has something happening. July slows down a little bit. The Bobby Brown Fishing Derby is this upcoming Saturday from 9 to 2. And just enjoy summertime is what she said there at the bottom. That's Val's report. Parks and Rec, Jay, you got anything?
The park looks nice. Thank you for getting the door in. And the lights look nice on the wall. Yeah, I like that. Other than that,
Okay, and we'll talk about Cribbler Beach. Plan, you got anything?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So, we voted to change we had a text amendment come through to permit small-scale solar farms as a special use. We allowed that to go through. That is going to the county. And then after it goes to the county, it'll come back for consideration for the board. That's really the bulk of what we're dealing with right now. That's all I got.
Okay, you had something with the daycare members, right?
Yeah, public hearing about the daycare, that was also a thing. What we're doing with the daycare is we're just making it, we're changing some of the language to meet standards with the rest of the county. And we're just trying to cut some of the red tape and making it easier to get daycare centers opened up on our end. It's not gonna change any state inspections or anything like that. It'll just change it on our end, at the township end, try to make it a little easier for them to open.
Zoning, I don't have the exact count on the building permits, but they are picking up. Building is not slowing down, even though with the higher prices, it seems to really be moving along. One other comment that I wanna make is, we've let the bricks go for a very long time, so if anybody has anything, they need to turn those in by Monday of next week, and I wanna start the order process for the veterans bricks. Because we have to go with something so that we can see where we're at, and then we will figure out how to get them installed and what other blank bricks we need to buy locally to do the pathways to each flag. Okay. Now we can move on to public comment. Do we have anybody signed up? Sir? All right. Denise Cummings.
My name is Denise, and I'm with the Wellston Boosters. And we had a really good turnout from our craft show that we had in May. We had over 30 vendors here, and very, very busy day. We have another one in October, and we wanted to know if you would have issues with, we want to make it kind of fallish. So we have somebody that's willing to donate pumpkins, and they'll bring a trailer in with the pumpkins on it and some bay hails, or hail, bays of,
Days of Hail.
yes, thank you, bay hails. So that sounded different. But we wanted to know if the weather permits, if we can have a fire at the fire pit.
That's there.
I mean, that's what
You
it's
probably
there
use the
for.
building, yeah.
Yeah, and we might have some people that will set up canopies outside that don't want to be inside. If the weather is really nice, then they're going to just put their stuff outside and have it. So we just wanted to run that past you to see how you guys felt about it. We hope we can have a good turnout for it. We might even have somebody donating some mums
And apples,
What'd you say?
and apples.
fall harvest.
I know your boss has a apple tree, apple farm.
Oh, yes, he does. Oh, yes, quite a few. The only thing I would say is, Chief, how far do we need to go? This would be.
Yeah, I know.
If
I know
everything
that.
we had the LZ,
I know.
keep them off the LZ, they might get.
But
involved.
if
Very slim chance.
if something's coming in, the fire department would get a hold of us and we'd get everybody away from there.
Yeah.
Because they don't just show up.
Yeah, no.
The
as
fire
long as
department
the
has
tents weren't
pre-knowledge
showing, as long
of
as we
it.
Keep the tents towards this, I don't see a problem.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
This side of, so the fire pit.
It's
is this
actually
side.
gonna be mostly of it on this side of the fire pit.
Yep, so as long.
There's
as
no
we-
reason to have to go that far, because people aren't gonna wanna walk that far.
Okay.
Denise, what date is that slated for?
Oh my gosh,
11.
the 11th.
Can I
We
have
had to
pumpkins
change
when
it,
you're done
it's
with
on the calendar.
You can reach. Okay.
them? Can I have the pumpkins when you're done with them for Halloween?
Have them?
Or
Sure.
buy them?
I don't know, if they might
I
not be
don't know
ours.
how
they
they're
might
gonna,
not be ours.
what they're gonna do with them.
Can you
If
find
they're-
out and let me know, please?
Sure,
Thank you.
sure.
Yeah, good.
It's okay?
Yep,
No problems?
no problem.
It's in the minutes?
It's on the video.
All right, thank you very much.
You.
Huh?
Billy, I can't read your handwriting, Billy. What's up?
You can't write it.
No, not you. No.
So, we're all set with the fireworks.
Okay,
Two things, don't forget the porta johns, and how are we gonna do the barges for that underwater?
we'll get them in, one way or another, they might just have to walk out, there's nothing, we're just gonna have to figure something out.
Should I
Might
tell
have
them
to
wear
be-
their rubber galoshes to walk on the water?
Well, I do have some construction picks, walk planks,
Yeah,
that we could probably bring over, I have a 24, 16, so we should be able to get a walk plank to the barges. Now, are they gonna need the pontoon plus the 4 barges and then the other small barge, or are we just going back to 1 barge?
I think we're gonna need 2 barges in the pontoon. So this year, the fireworks are actually a little different. As somebody said, they bought a house over behind the church here, and they wanted to watch their house. They're not gonna see them. These are low water graphic fireworks. These come from Belgium, they did not come from Japan. It's totally something no one's ever seen here, just like everything else they did. But
No, what I'm saying is we need the pontoon with 2 barges, so
Yes,
one
I will
will
check
do-
with them
we
and
don't
make sure,
need the
yeah.
separate little barge for the big thing
Yeah.
anymore. So we just need 4 and the pontoon.
I don't know he's gonna need one separate for the.
You don't think so?
I'll ask him.
Okay, let me know on that, we just, yeah.
Yeah. We have, do we know how the area of the beach is gonna be by then, or we all praying? I seen people pulling the grass up just to make sure it's growing, but, you know.
Yeah. No, we're gonna talk about the beach and allowing access to it, it's just the docks, it's the unsafeness. For the most part, it seems pretty secure. Dre did notice a board that came off, and then you get a kid underneath, or a person underneath that dock, you don't know they're there. So, we have a proposal to deal with that.
Yeah.
later on today. So, what'd you say?
I
Jake?
forgot to add, don't forget about the parade on the fourth.
Yep, parade on 4th of July.
At noon.
There's some people asking about that.
Calling all
I'm
the people.
calling them tomorrow, so.
Okay.
They line up at 11, right?
Line up at 11.
11 and parade starts
By
at
the
noon.
school?
Yes.
Can you
I
check
talked to
with,
Jacqueline already.
Jacqueline said we can do the same thing, as long as she's not upset with it. Okay. New owners of the school, so. Okay.
All right.
You good?
Thank you.
All right, Ed Asher, is that, am I saying the name right? He was the third person saying, I'm reading it wrong, what is that? Fisher,
Yeah, that's Ed Fisher.
Ed Fisher, sorry, I'm sorry, Ed. Sorry.
I want to talk to your zoning guy.
Well, you address all of us.
All right, I'll just ask all of you. What is going through your mind approving that solar farm here on Tippy Dam Road? Now, I was at that meeting the
Yeah,
other day.
wait, stop. There was no solar farm approved on Tippy Dam Road. No.
Okay, the zoning.
There was no zoning change.
There was no change, but it was approved
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
through the planning commission.
The planning commission approved a word change.
Right.
Okay,
Let the process go on. Why is it even an item? Why are we even talking about putting a solar farm on Tippy Dam Road in Wellston? Now, I was at that meeting the other day. I was the only one, well, Joanne was there. She was setting her camera up. I walked there because it caught my eye. I thought, a solar farm on Tippy Dam Road? And it was you and that Townsend guy, and there was another guy in the middle, and that lady there, Wicks.
With.
Right. And I never seen one in my life. Okay? But after being in that meeting with them, I wouldn't let them organize a friggin' 1-year-old birthday party. They sit there and that Townsend was schooling them on what this lawyer was telling this Townsend guy. And the lawyer tells him, well, you don't have to read that stuff. I read it for you. Now, how many people in here have been divorced or know people have been divorced?
No. You address us. This is not.
All right, how many up there have been divorced or know somebody that's been divorced? Would you let your ex-lawyer come to you and say, here's what it is, you don't have to read it. We'll just sign off on it. That's exactly what happened that day.
Okay, I'm sure there's other comments, and I'll address all these comments, the same. Is that what you want to state there? Or do you have something else? Do you have something else you want to say?
Yeah, what about the people there that's gonna lose cell phone, their telephones, internet? These are the people immediate area. Property value is gonna go down up to probably 25% if they can sell it.
Okay, what documentation do you have on that? The property values.
I've been watching, I probably watched
No,
more.
I
No, I'm
like
telling you, I've
documentation.
probably watched more stuff in the last 2 weeks since this was on here than any of them guys was up there on that planning commission did.
Yep, you can
I just don't think this needs to be in on Tippy Dam in Wellston, Michigan. People don't come up here to go walk around and look at the solar farm, do they? They come up here for vacation to get away from that stuff.
Okay. Yep. So, you cannot, if the board would have voted it down, we would have been sued immediately. Because not in my backyard is against the law. MTA will tell you that, the state will tell you that. You cannot just ban a use from private property. You can regulate that use within your zoning. And there are 3 ways to regulate that use within your zoning. Okay, there is a basic ordinance. There is a CREO, which is a ordinance that is stated. CREO stands for an acronym. I don't know exactly, I don't have the paper, I have to look to figure out what that is. But a CREO states you adopt basically what the state ordinance is for solar farms. Okay? And then there is a workable ordinance. A workable ordinance is developed through experts, your planning commission, and your township attorney that believes that the ordinance is workable enough for him to defend in court. A workable ordinance takes the state ordinance and it makes the restrictions in most part greater than the state. Okay, so the state says that solar panels are 50 feet from the property line. We could have an ordinance that says it's 100 feet. The state says it's a 6-foot chain link fence. We could say it's a 6 feet chain link fence with the black meshing like there's around the school. Okay? We could say there needs to be a tree barrier. What our planning commission is doing is defending all of you by doing this. Because if you put your head in the sand, you're going to get run over. And the state will run you over. Oh, no, Rich, it's only 50K megawatt farms. That means 200 minimum acres that they can go to the state and bypass Norman Township and do whatever they want. We have no say over that. That is PA 233, okay? What the township is doing and what these people that, on this planning commission, and I will talk about that in a second, they are trying to get ahead of this, the same as Grant Township is, the same as a lot of places they are. We will be talking to our attorney. We will be getting noise experts. We will be getting what other site experts you can do. So, I'm going to give you an example. The state says it's 50 feet from the property. Norman Township says 500. That's not defendable. That's not workable. 100 feet possibly is defendable because 100 foot with trees says we have a wooded area. We want to hide these solar farms and keep the wooded area look, okay? So that's workable. That is expanding on the state law. Okay, it's expanding on the state ordinance, okay? We can let these all be handled by, so there are the 3 ways to do it. The ordinances that you can do, or the ways that you can do it, is you can let it entirely be taken care of by the state itself, okay? And that would be what is the name of that firm that does that? The Michigan Public Services Commission can come in and allow solar farms in your area according to their terms from Lansing or wherever they're from. You can do a CREO, which is adopting the state ordinance. You can also do the workable. Those are the only 3 ways that you can work with solar farms. Denying it and saying no, putting your head in the sand, will get Norman Township run over. So you will get destroyed. So now, no, you cannot zone it, no. You cannot. Renewable energies are something that the state wants. PA 233 has included it. Now,
they want to be.
we could outlaw the small ones, but the big ones can still come in. We have no say. If we have an ordinance that allows small ones and has restrictions on those small ones, okay? Expanding the buffer zone, expanding the fence maybe with the black tarp or whatever, then those can also apply to those larger farms if they were to ever come here. Okay, do you see what I'm saying?
Well, they usually get one little one and they add to them.
Okay, so people say, well, that PA 233 only counts for 50 kilowatt hour farms. That one on Tippy Dam is Tippy Dam hydroelectric project. So Tippy Dam does 7.3 kilowatts. This will do about 5 to 6. I do believe, I could be mistaken, but I think it's between 4 and 6, roughly 5 to 6. They could take 30 acres in Dixon, 10 acres in Brown, and total, as a conglomerate group, 50 kilowatts, and go to the state, and the state would just tell us, Norman Township, this is a conglomeration of these 4 or 5, they are 50 kilowatt hours plus, and too bad, you can't do anything. You decided, you said no, we'll just tell you that we can do it, that we're gonna do it this way. This is through Lansing. This has nothing to do with us. We are trying to get ahead of this and protect our community in the way that we need to protect our community by allowing them with certain caveats that protect our nature, that protect our visual view. Now, the one on Tippy Dam, that is gonna come to the planning commission probably in July or August, somewhere soon, because they're working on it. This is on 32 acres, 22 acres in the middle, with 100-foot trees and a 6-foot fence inside those trees all the way around it. You're never gonna see it.
Yeah, you will.
Okay,
We'll know it's there.
You'll know it's there.
Know it's there.
but, let me ask you this. So should everybody in this room decide what you can do with your property?
No, but if I live next door to that guy, I got rights too.
Those people will be heard at the public hearing before. That's what the word of solar farm is. It goes through a special use permitting process. So so there are allowable uses in residential. You can build a house, you can build a pool, okay? You can build a deck. Then there are special uses. You can operate a hair salon. We have cottage industry ordinance. That's a special use. You can do some cottage industry stuff. There are other special uses that you can do within that district that this would be one of them. You would have a public hearing. The zoning administrator doesn't sign off on it. It comes between the whole planning commission and the planning commission to put restrictions on them. Like the cottage industry ordinance, and forgive me if it's not, but when it was originally written 20-some years ago, I was on the planning commission. We limited the cottage industry to 2 parking spaces, public parking spaces. So you got your driveway, you got your shed over here that you're doing a barber shop in, two parking spaces were allowed for the cottage industry ordinance. That would go the same with a mechanic doing something or somebody doing another hobby out of this place. So there are restrictions that are put upon those that the people can be heard about, and the planning commission, if they're smart, will look at those restrictions, but not go too overboard to where they're too overbearing and the state will wipe them out anyways. You see what I'm saying? This is what we do
I
with
think you're
everything.
telling me is this solar farm's going in regardless of what anybody says. That's what I'm getting out
No,
of
we
your
are not,
conversation.
no.
You're gonna have high
Wait,
fences
stop,
and everything, but
stop.
the farm's going in one way or the other.
Stop. I'm not talking to you, stop. We as a board are not talking about whether it's going in or whether it's not, because that is not our call. The next step, this company could sue us for what we say wrong here as a board. If a board member slammed their fist and no, that company could sue us for that, because we are unduly affecting a lower board, which is the planning commission. We appoint them. Those are 5 independent people. And even though it's been said that,
There's only 3 there.
well, there are 5 total.
And one of them, that lady, she says, I got friends in solar. How do I know that maybe that's her friends doing that job?
Anybody know, it's not. Anybody know Alan O'Shea?
I don't know her.
Anybody know Alan O'Shea or Devin O'Shea? Anybody in this room? You got friends in solar. They own a solar company here.
I don't know.
They're alumni of Brethren.
The hell, I thought she said that this is way overdue.
So,
I thought she
because a lot of
was
people
gonna
believe-
jump up and clap like a seal. She was so happy.
okay, that's people's points of view.
That's my point.
And I will say that Ms. Becker-Witt and I butt heads on quite a few things, but I respect her difference in opinion of mine. So this goes to, I appoint people to the planning commission that are my toadies and yes men. Not at all. You can ask anybody on the planning commission. The one question I ask them is, hey, if I really want something, I tell you should vote for it, what are you gonna do? And if they said, well, I'll think about it, or if they say, I'm gonna vote what my conscience tells me, that's the people I appoint to that board. Independent of us. That's how it is. They are the legislator, we are the executive branch. They write the laws, we give final approval of the laws. Okay? That's why that goes there. That's why the special use permit goes there. And I'm not trying to be adversarial, but sir, we're actually doing this to protect you, because if we put our heads in the
I'll tell
sand,
you
we'll
what,
get run over.
after I seen that meeting the other day, I'll be awful disappointed in what they write up.
Okay, so Mr. Townsend was talking about our lawyer in a lot of that. I was not present, but he has worked with Tom Greer, our attorney, who is 30 years in township law, 20 years in dealing with all of the solar, the gravel, everything. The other thing is there's a lot of folks in this room that talk about the government and taxing and you can't tell me what to do with my land. Okay, which I believe. I believe in your rights. The other thing outside of this is personal property rights. Do you believe you have the right to do with what you're with your property with some zoning within reason? But you want to take that right away from another private individual.
I figure my neighbors got rights too.
They do, and that's why we write ordinances that allow you to do what you do on your property, but with respect to your neighbors. That's what zoning
But
is.
this is what these outfits do. They come in these little towns like Wellston, it's got weak zoning laws, and they move in. They don't go to these big cities. Everybody says, well, let's put them on the rooftops. They gotta go through so much BS there. It's easier to come to Wellston and plop a 100-acre lawn down there.
Well, this PA 233 goes for farmland. They want to put these in farmland. Wellston doesn't have the greatest farmland. Now you're saying, wait a minute, it's trees. Let me ask you a question. Could this guy take his 32 acres, cut every tree off that property, and concrete every square inch of his 32 acres? Do we have any right to say anything about it? Nope. Not according to our zoning. We do not. If he wants to lay 32 acres of concrete, he can do so. He or she can do so. That is allowable within our zone. You see what I'm saying? So
They talk about this green stuff, they wanna be
And I
green by
understand.
2040.
Yep.
Are you all right?
Yep.
Until it comes to put these solar farms in, and they'll plow the whole place down, or cut down all these trees to put a data center in.
Yep.
Well, we don't know anything about that.
My personal opinion, I don't think green energy, the way they're doing it, is exactly the answer. But I'm not an expert, and neither are you.
No, I'm far
So-
from that. I never knew much about solar farms till that day I was in here. And I
So-
said, what the hell are they doing here?
We are working Ben Townsend because he was preventing us from getting sued that night. If we would have said no to the language change, we would have got immediately sued, or could have, okay? Because we can't just say no. You have to allow something. It's like the marijuana shops in Manistee. They didn't allow them through the whole community, but they allowed them in that one little section. So that is a special use. They did that like a special use. So we would be allowing solar if somebody wants to, with reasonable restrictions and reasonable ability to keep sound deadening, to keep anything that makes sound, to keep anything that would be a site issue, to keep that to a minimum. I love our area, I love where we live, but the state, the federal laws with PA 233,
So you're
I guess
saying
PA
the
260, I'm sorry, that's an
planning
assessment.
commission has always gotta say yes. They can't say no, a special,
No, they could say, so if we did a special use and say we put a certain restriction, and the company came and said, we don't want to do that, we want to do half of that, they could say no. And I don't know if this is allowable, if they said a 6-foot fence with the black mesh like they have at the school, and I'm just pulling a visual that we can play with. They said, we're not gonna put that black mesh. Then the planning commission could say no. Then they could sue us, and that's where Tom Greer comes in to write this workable ordinance, meaning it's workable that he can defend in court. Okay? To just say nothing and to do nothing, you would get steamrolled. And I understand everybody's pain. We don't wanna see these huge solar farms that you see on the side of the road, or Cadillac's looking at 1,800 acres. Okay? It's gonna go. Because those people and how big it is, the state's just gonna override the township. And it's gonna go. So what they're doing, Grant and all those other townships, are trying to develop a workable ordinance that they might be able to live with and might mitigate something. And the great thing about that is our attorney firm is the same firm, so we're gonna have some of they're already months ahead of us on this stuff. Yes,
Do you know how big Manton's is?
I do not,
I
but
know it's a lot, it's big.
it's big. Now, they're going after farmland. We don't have a lot of farmland. This is a little strange that they wanna cut down trees and they wanna do this because there's that in cost. Now, on Bosham Road, there's some farmland. It's about the only vacant farm fields we have. The other thing you have to think about your farmers is, where some of us might have been lucky, not myself, but some of us might be able to lucky to retire with a 401k or a retirement plan. Farmers don't have 401ks. They have their land. We see them all the time developed into housing projects, subdivisions. Technically, if it's a solar farm in 20 years, when included in this language by our planning commission could be a bond or a cash amount that is set aside to remove whenever they decide to decommission. That's the other thing, I've heard that, oh, they're just gonna leave and they'll go. No, we can have money in a bank that is to decommission them, that removes them, that the owner sits on it's gonna take $50,000 to remove them. 10 years later, the owner can look at that and go, it's no longer 50,000, it's 65,000, so they would have to put an additional 15,000 in to remove those. There's ways to do this correctly to protect our township. And that's what we would be doing, that's what Mr. Townsend would be doing, because he's dealing with the big one in Wexford County. He'd be bringing that knowledge here, plus with our attorney, Tom Greer. So, may that Tippy Dam Road project go before we get our workable ordinance? Yes, it could, if the board decides to vote for it, the planning commission decides to vote for it, and we can get an agreement. But we'd still be working on our workable solar ordinance. If we just say no, they could take this 22 acres, you need about 200 acres to have 50 kilowatt, 200 to 300 acres. They could collect 200 acres of people that'd be willing to do this, and they could force it on us anyways in small little parcels. So, where these planning commission had their names put out there and almost doxed in a way on social media, they're doing what's best for you all. I have no stake in this solar farm. Nobody here does. Nobody on that planning commission does. Mrs. Witt might have made that statement, but she's been in government her whole life. She's been on multiple boards. She's very well versed. Like I said, her and I disagree on a lot of points, but I like that. I love the fact that she and I can argue, and she makes me see a different point. And she does it respectfully. So I get your concerns, but to just say no, we lose. Okay, and I really appreciate your comments, sir. I really do. I hope you understand. This is, I've talked to MTA. I've talked to our township attorney, and well versed by both of them. So, yes, Ted. Let's go with Ted.
Yeah. I was listening to you talk about this. I appreciate you protecting our neighborhood. So you're protecting our neighborhood by allowing this solar farm on the assumption that the federal government or the state is going to come in and build some huge solar farm here. So you're assuming you're protecting us.
We are protecting by creating this workable ordinance that most companies would go to. Michigan solar companies have been very, very good at working with the local ordinance. First, to try to get projects done, willing to spend a little extra cost to make solar farms a little smaller so that the restrictions placed upon by the local boards can be adhered to, so that they don't create this problem.
Right.
That has been the trend.
But you're assuming that if we don't do this, if we don't go along with them, they're going to steamroll us, and they're going to put in a big one.
So,
No.
are you suggesting that we just say no solar?
I'm suggesting you do an environmental study on it. I've given you some information there. There's endangered bats living at the dam, and the information there says that solar farms discourage the bats. So, are you going to jeopardize an endangered species?
We have millions of forest land. 22 acres isn't going to affect the bats, in my opinion.
Okay.
But
You're not a scientist. are
I'm
you?
not. But
Okay.
this companies, when they come to us, they do environmental impact studies.
Okay.
They do sound studies. They do all those studies.
Okay.
I have not looked at the Atwell project more than just a very quick scan, because I don't want to. Because I don't want to have the information that influences my planning commission. They are there to make the decision, not us. We are not to
I own
influence.
property adjacent to where this
Yep.
proposed farm is, okay? Now, what do you think that's gonna do to my property value? Do you think it's gonna increase my property value having a solar farm adjacent to me?
As an assessor, I know no studies showing either way.
There are studies actually that drops the.
25%.
How much?
25% if
I've
you can
heard
find,
about
if you
Okay,
can find.
well, print them out,
Okay, I'll send them to you.
print them out,
Okay.
and bring them, not to me,
Okay.
because it's not my decision to make.
Okay.
Bring them, if Atwell does bring their project
Okay.
to the planning commission, that's
Okay.
where you would have a public meeting to talk about that.
Yeah, because this Shea guy you're talking about, he has other solar farms downstate also, so
Yes.
it's the big business for him, right? And I just don't think that one person should be able to benefit financially on the backs of all his neighbors.
So, does a farmer benefit on the backs of all his neighbors when he spreads manure?
A farmer, what?
Do they benefit on the backs of their neighbors?
They're established.
Is a farmer decreasing property value by having something rezoned?
It's not rezoned.
What is it?
It's an allowable use.
A lot, okay, fancy term for rezoning, okay, right?
No, actually, it's not, because we don't have zoning that allows or doesn't allow solar, and we need it.
Okay. Well, I think, by saying, we're gonna allow this to go through because we're worried that maybe in the future, that, they're gonna build a bigger farm, it's kind of, you're assuming that, is all you're doing, right?
Along with almost every other township in the state.
In the middle of a national forest, I mean, it seems like there's more efficient ways to build a solar farm than cutting down a bunch of trees and clearing land, right? There's already cleared land that solar farms could be put on. I think it would be a whole lot cheaper, right?
They could.
Good, there's no doubt, because you
It's up
gotta
to the
remove trees.
private owner to decide.
Huh?
It's up to the private owner how they
Well,
want to use it.
the guy's leasing his property to this O'Shea, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that would be.
Okay, so the guy's
I
leasing.
don't know what the name is.
Yeah.
I don't know the name.
He's
It's
leasing
Atwell
his
is
property,
what it is.
benefiting financially, and me as his neighbor, I'm gonna suffer because my property, you may think it's not gonna go down, but that's not realistic, okay? Would you wanna, if you had a choice to buy a property that was serene environment, or buy one that was next to a solar farm, what would you choose?
Well, I live right next to a very big vacant piece of property.
Okay.
That is not good farmland.
Okay, you didn't answer my question though.
Which one I prefer?
Would you pick the hot place next to a solar farm or a serene environment? If you were gonna build a house or buy property, would you pick the one next to a solar
I
farm?
picked to live on a lake up in Alaska. So
Pardon me?
I picked to live on a lake up in Alaska, so yeah.
I think you're avoiding the question.
I know, I'm saying I agree.
Okay, which one? Pick one. Which would you pick?
I would pick to live up by a serene environment.
Serene, right? You wouldn't want a solar farm, right? No.
But
Neither do
once
I.
again, not in my backyard is not an allowable
I'm not saying
term
it's-
according to the state.
Okay.
It's not a defense, and that comes directly from MTA.
Okay.
Okay,
You keep
you
falling
can,
back on that, I get it.
yeah, you can, it is, I mean, that was something that I was told by MTA.
Okay.
To say that it is not, it's Catherine Huffman.
Okay, you're worried the township is gonna be sued, right? If you say no, the township is gonna be sued, right? So then the township will have to spend our tax dollars that I'm putting in as property tax to defend against it. Okay, I'm willing to do that.
Okay, well, there's.
Should that come up for a vote? Shouldn't it come up for a
It
vote?
doesn't come up to a vote. That's not
Just
our
5
government.
people are gonna decide the future of everybody?
That's the way our government's set up. Yes. Okay.
Ask them
Ma'am, let's
what
move
it
on.
is.
Are the workable ordinances already determined, like you're saying, like 100 feet, et cetera?
No, they're not. So what the, let me see if I can find it. So there are the 3 ways that you can do it. You can bow out of solar farms and just let the Michigan Public Service Commission decide how they go in and what they go in. The second way is to do a CREO, which is the P-233 Act and their restrictions, okay? And the other is a workable township ordinance, okay? Then, so the workable ordinance is set based on the jurisdiction of the state and the CREO, which is, I do believe, let me see if I can find those. It is 50-foot, it is 50-foot setback from the property line. Maybe you could expand that and make it more because we are a rural rustic area with trees. Maybe we could make that greater. Is 150 feet? I don't know. That would be for lawyers an expert to come in and say what could be defendable in court. It's 55 decibels that can be heard 300 feet. Like none of these can be set, no solar panel can be within 300 foot of an adjacent house, okay? And there's a 55 decibel law. In the thumb, in the Bay City area, I believe it's Bay City, they've got that in their workable ordinance down to 47 decibels or 46 decibels. I looked that up and did research on that because I knew there were going to be a lot of questions tonight. So that's what I mean. Now they can't say 0 decibels. That's unworkable. So they can try to expand on. They're not 100% guaranteed defendable, but they're workable, meaning the lawyer would say, I can defend this in court because of special circumstances of this being a natural forest and a serene area and all that.
And those parameters are in the process of being determined, like?
Yes.
Just, okay.
Yes.
And they'll be determined before
Before that farm's decision is made? Possibly not, but in a special use, the planning commission could set those in motion. Meaning they could require the 100-foot buffer. They could require a fence with certain restrictions. They could require where the noise-making apparatus, which I think is converters, thank you, is located. So, located further to the back or in the middle of the property, so it's as far away from the noise dens before it gets off the property as far as, so they could work with that, and that would be the basis of this ordinance that would take probably 8 to 10 to 12 months to develop.
It takes that long to develop. So they won't have it by the time that they vote on this particular.
If this comes, if they decide and they vote on it, they can put the restrictions in they feel, and then they can expand on those or decrease those. You see what I'm saying? Within the ordinance. We would work on that. It would be a lot of our attorney's time. It would be a lot of experts. We would get noise experts. We would get the visual experts, with solar and all that, and we would get their opinion of what would be a defendable thing in court. Because you could put, it's like anything else. There's a certain point, there's a certain tipping point where a company's gonna say, nah, I'll fight this, I'll go the state route. I'll spend more money to do it that way than working with you. And that could be the danger. That's what we don't want. We want to, we're not gonna put a sign out that says solar farms here. We're not. I don't think anybody here wants that. But we have to have it if somebody does come and want to put one in, that we have something that's workable, acceptable to all.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And then I just had one other question about the environmental studies that you said. Those are done by the company that's coming in who wants to put the solar farm?
They are hired out they have an environmental company.
Friends?
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
They are an independent company that they do. And you are right, we hear that all the time, but I have not looked at the environmental study besides briefly. I can't quote you who did it, but that will all be presented within the special use, the variance. So they would have to do it. If there was something in there that our lawyer said that's unacceptable, then maybe we can request a different environmental study or something like that. So, yeah. Yes, sir.
Hi, Jim Hill, over on Tippy Dam Road.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Ed, and thanks, folks, for your input, and thank you for putting up with me.
What's that?
So the bottom line is that no matter what, the taxpayers, the abutters, none of us in this community have the right to reject a solar farm or any other thing that we don't want in this community.
I'm not saying that. I'm
But
saying that's
what
for our
you're saying
attorney.
is, no matter what, if you don't approve it, then the state will, eventually, we get our butts kicked anyways.
Yes, under
Yeah.
Pete,
So in other words, the poor lady that lives right next to where it is, and the guy over in back that wants to retire, and across the street, and nobody has any, we pay taxes, we support the community, we support each other.
and that's
But
why.
we have no say with what happens in the middle of the Manistee National Forest. for it.
on somebody else's property, it's not,
I
it's private
understand, I
land.
understand, so-
This whole community is in the national forest,
Look,
it's
I
private land.
understand, yes, I understand, we have the right to do what we wanna do with our property. Now, you mentioned, well, I would much rather see 32 acres of concrete or horse manure than a solar farm. I went by one today, and I said to her manager, my wife, I said to her, there must have been 200,000 panels on what used to be a beautiful pasture. And they're doing one down in Shelby right now, that it's an eyesore to a beautiful little town. Here we are, a couple hundred, a quarter mile from the Big Manistee River, the best river in the United States of America. I come here 55 years ago to fish, build a home here, retire here. And to have something like that, it's not gonna affect me or my wife. I'm in my 80s anyway. Another couple of years, I won't even know what solar is. I'm saying, we should have some say.
And we do,
No, we don't.
through the planning
No,
commission,
we have a
we do.
temporary, stay, if you might call it. But we don't have the final answer is, the big guy gets what he wants, we get our butts kicked. That's what it is, and it's not right. If
I'm not
people-
gonna say that you're wrong.
No, I know that, what I'm just saying, I'm not against a solar farm. But and you know, this idea of cutting down, clear cutting 32 acres of prime hunting, rabbits, deer, bear, gorillas, whatever. I think, to put this, Tippy Dam does not, the consumers doesn't need that power, no more than you or I do. You're not gonna benefit, none of us will benefit, we will not see 1 cent. The winner are the guy that's got the land, consumers, and the big contractors. They really could care less whether we live or die.
I'm not gonna say that you're wrong, but the process that has been forced upon us is to mitigate,
No, I understand.
This is from Lansing, this is Public Act
I understand that. but
PA
Lansing is-
233. So now, the only thing we can do is work very hard and diligently, thank you, for the people of this township to try to mitigate the amount and preserve everything that we can. And that's what the planning commission, that's what they're doing. And that's what we would be spending money on, an attorney and environmentalists to see what we can do
Is
to,
10,000 pounds better than 14,000? No,
you have,
it's not.
according to MTA and, which is Michigan Township Association, which is a lawyer service a legal service that supplies to townships, they are allowable, they are not completely bannable, but they are restricted. And that's what we were working for, restrictable within reason. Like I said, limiting them to 2 solar panels, that's too restrictive. You know what I mean? So we have to do it with, like I said, work with the experts, and I'm not an expert on any of this. What restrictions can we put out there to mitigate any impact to our community? If we decide not to do this and don't worry about it, yeah, then we could get steamrolled. We're trying to get ahead of it. And those planning commissioners are trying to get ahead of it, because that's their job as the legislative body of this government. And talking about, that they don't have a stake in, and I saw something, these dummies from downstate come up here and they don't know. Our chair of our planning commission is born and raised here. Lived his whole life here. Has a wife and multiple children and is raising his family here. He loves his community more than anybody. Bye, guys. Yeah. So,
Thank you.
You know what I mean? And Nick, how long you been up here? 30 years. Mary Becker Witt, they're retired from the school system. That was Paul Witt, probably taught most of your kids. I mean, the only, I think, newbie, and I don't know how long.
Guys, can't hear.
Is,
Couldn't hear,
What I'm
sorry.
saying though is, it was stated that these planning commission members have no state in this community. Every one of the ones I know, I think everybody either born and raised here, raised their family here, raising their family here, or been here 30 years minimum. I don't know how much more of a state you need. Actually, this is being uproared and a lot of misinformation by people that have not been here as long as they have.
You know, poor devils don't get to say what happens with their land.
You do get a say.
No,
Everybody
you don't.
on this.
Bottom line is, you get to say as long as it's what they agree on.
No. Everybody on this board is fighting for you.
I understand the fighting for us, but we're all
standing outside.
you're not gonna be able to.
That is a fact of life that PA
Well,
233 steamroller. The Township Association hates it. The government's hate it. It's being forced upon us.
we should be able to stop it, and apparently we can't. Thank you.
We're gonna work very hard to protect everything we can for you. Yes, sir.
I originally did not want to talk, but you gotta look at another aspect. What's it doing to our electric bills? I mean, I looked at my electric bill the other day, and there's a $50 surcharge on these transmission. In the solar and windmills are not very efficient. They should be utilizing their money elsewhere. You know, coal, nuclear, gas, something like that. Hydro is, we got a nice dam there. A lot of other ways to do this. The communist green energy guys are not going to be in Lansing forever. How about stonewalling them people? Drag it out as long as you can. We might get lucky and get another governor. And maybe she puts some people in, you know, or whoever the governor is going to put some people in control that actually block this nonsense, this green energy nonsense, because it's skyrocketing everybody's electric bill. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sir, let's go right next to you there, and then we'll come here and then there. Yeah.
So basically all I hear is how helpless we are to stop or go through with this process, that y'all up there, you know, you just don't have accountability or power.
I take offense
When
to that.
this is gonna go to a vote before the citizens of this township that pay taxes and have the best interest of our community.
Because that's not how the system works. It's not allowed within the system. Okay? Okay, so
Why don't you tell us what you're gonna do to stop this from coming to our community? Why don't you stand up and tell us, what are you doing to stop this?
we are working within the way the law is set up and doing everything we can. Yes, sir.
Is there a way for any of us to try to influence the planning commission?
Without,
One way or another?
you can come and voice your opinion, and there will be a public hearing on that, and you can voice your opinion on the plan, but you have to waive your all's personal property rights, which is that landowner's personal property rights. He has the rights of slugger. He has the right to sell, he has the right to list, he has the right to use, he has the right to occupy, he has the right to, and do nothing. Okay, that's the property rights in the state of Michigan. Taking those away from them, from that person, is a hard thing to do. You see what I'm saying?
It's hard.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
boy,
the
that's
community
hard.
should have rights
Yeah.
too.
You want it to be hard?
Yeah, I don't want it to be hard, huh?
You know?
You're going
We are working
you're
in
going
the
to
best
path
interest
of
of
least
the community.
resistance.
It's not the path of least resistance. The path of least resistance would be to say no and get sued for multi-millions of dollars.
So afraid of being sued.
There's a lot of townships in Michigan fighting this.
And we are too.
I bet he wishes he had it.
The
Yes,
PA 283 that you keep referencing, is it only applying to things that are quote unquote green energy, like solar or wind?
Yes, it is, I do believe so, yes.
So when the data centers come here, et cetera, they won't apply, correct? Try to come here.
I don't want to say that for sure. I don't think data centers are included in this. This is wind and solar.
Okay, I just wanted to.
Wind, solar,
That's next.
This company does data centers too.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think that ordinance is saying the EA 283, that's the, 283?
233.
233, that's the problem is,
It would be better for you all to come to the planning commission where we're gonna have lawyers from both sides. They are much more well versed than I.
What does that mean?
We don't know for sure. It will be a public meeting, that once they apply, and I don't know if they've officially
They
applied.
haven't even officially applied.
They haven't
for
even
the permit
officially
yet.
applied for this, okay? They would apply, we can, afraid of getting sued when your lawyer says you're gonna lose, yes, I take the recommendation of our attorney, okay?
Better lawyer.
Yeah, 30 years ago. So, yes, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Okay, so I want to say, I came in really ticked off because I wanted to understand first of all how there was a meeting of this honestly magnitude that we all missed except for 2 people. That seems pretty important. I mean, I don't understand how that even happens. I'm trying to get over that. I hear you. I want you to understand that.
Yeah.
That you're trying to take the lesser of 2 evils. Like, look, we either figure out the best way to do this, or there's a chance that the 20 acres could become 2,000 acres. And nobody wants 20 acres, so nobody's gonna want 2,000 acres. I guess the question is, what are we gonna do to make sure that is the least restrictive, not only for this property, but is it gonna be like, not just, okay, well, we're gonna take 50 decibels. Is there gonna be somebody who's gonna be looking at every possible, I don't wanna say like every possible case ever, but like, what is the absolute minimum we can go to for this situation for our community? Because we do have a zone community. I mean, I don't wanna be shitty, but we're not in Irons. We purposely aren't a non-zone community. We have
Well, going to your point.
blight
there,
ordinances and things.
This was something that I spoke with MTA about and the attorney about. There is a way that we could look at total land in that category, which I hate to say, our rural residential category is where PA 260 applies to, which is acreage. 233, thank you. I keep saying the wrong thing. I deal with PA 260 all the time. That is something else. 233, there is a way to take your total land in a unit that is classified in that classification and limit it to a percentage that can be developed in that area. So that is something that would go into that workable ordinance. You see what I'm saying? That is something, to just say no, we have no say after that. And could we get steamrolled? Yes, we could. Put your head in the sand and get you killed. Okay. So that's in the workable ordinance. Getting an attorney, getting the best representatives to protect our township, the best experts to tell us how to write that workable ordinance is what we need to do, is what we're going to do.
Will anything we do with this one-off, first-time situation hamper what we do for the future zoning?
No.
Can they come back and say, well, you allowed them at 55 decibels, so now you can't allow them at 45?
No. No.
Okay, and what are we gonna do to make sure that the rest of us don't miss that meeting? Because obviously the first meeting, the zoning meeting, I mean, honestly, those zoning meetings at best are boring, at worst, don't watch them at 2 in the morning, you won't sleep. Either boredom or anger, trust me. But, you know, we wanna be here. We didn't get to see the first one, which may be good for everyone's best, I don't know, but we need to know. It needs to be very well broadcast. So how do we make sure that we all find out?
If there is a special use message or a special use permit that comes in, and when it is applied, I will send it out on the text message service that we have.
Okay, I've never seen that. Can we make sure
And
somebody
I
puts
will
it?
place it on my Facebook page.
Can we put on what's happening in Wellston, which a lot of people go to? We could put on some of these other.
Flyers in the store.
Okay, the only thing by law that we have to do.
I understand what we
and I'm
have to do.
sorry, but so we will do more. We will do
Thank
more.
you,
We
thank
will
you,
do more.
thank you,
We will try
appreciate
to
that.
inform you.
Do you have it downloaded?
This guy's had his hand up in the purple for a long time. I'm gonna get his hand down, so go ahead.
Start off by saying thank you.
Thank you.
All you people, planning commission and so forth, thank you for doing a thankless job.
Okay.
You know, I've worked with you folks before, and I know what a thankless job is. But you have to look at this situation. Why is it only a quarter mile from the big river? Why are they decimating all these trees when there's so many other opportunities that would be easier? from a 50-yard stare, I see, okay, they're gonna stair step their way into an AI center here eventually.
Yeah.
A data center, whatever. I just hope that you guys have enough foresight to protect us from that.
No.
I just ask that you would look to try to protect us from that. But thank you for what you do, all of you. And as far as how does this happen without us knowing, how does it just all of a sudden pop up? Because 90% of people in this room aren't involved in township. You only show up when something pisses you off. Otherwise, you're at home in your own little bubble, doing your own little thing, not worried about anything. Well, then you're not ready to be your ambition. You're not gonna be involved. You can be part of the solution or you can be part of the problem.
Thank you.
Very simple.
Thank you, Mr. Plum.
Well,
Yes, sir.
Why don't the township do its own environmental part of it? And, maybe get the, steel headers and the rest of them involved. They seem to be able to control the dam for years. Why can't they, kick it out of this?
We can look into that.
We need to have our own. I worked in environmental for a lot of years. And there's so much crap that goes on who's gonna do the testing. We should know on our own.
That's a delivery of your stuff.
Okay, yes.
So I guess I just want to clarify if I understood you correctly. Basically, this solar farm is coming in at this point, whether we like it or not.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I've worked very hard to not be to say any influence. I'm talking about the state law, EA 233, and the misgivings that I've seen on social media that has happened. I will not, and I expressed to the board, that's what I stopped the meeting for, we will not influence what a decision that goes to the planning commission before it comes to us. Okay? So, is it a done deal? I do not know. There's a lot of factors to look at. Okay? This meeting tonight plays into, you have two planning commission members sitting here right now. They're hearing you.
Right.
So,
So I guess, I mean, we don't have too much control over with what this particular landowner is gonna do with his property, just because we don't have all the zoning and the rules and stuff in place. We need to catch up with current times. But for future, you're putting, the planning committee and stuff is putting in those rules so that we can control what happens from that point forward. If I'm understanding. So it's kind of, we're behind the times, and at this point now we're kind of caught with.
we're ahead of 90% of most townships out there because they haven't been approached with this. This just went into law like a year or two ago.
Okay.
I think it was 2024. So it's not been very long. And we have an attorney that is dealing with one of the biggest cases in Northern Michigan that is also our attorney. So he's very well versed in what this needs to be done. His office is very well versed in this and he can help us. So.
All right, I mean, I think this whole debate honestly is absolutely ridiculous because we're debating what somebody wants to do with their own property. I mean, that's quite literally like the definition of American dream, to do what you want with your own chunk of land, and now everybody in town is trying to prohibit this one person from, clear cutting his trees,
Well, and that is, there's two poles here. There's a solar farm, which most people are not in favor of, if in this room, what I'm gathering. And none of the board members have stated their favor or not, or dislike of it. They can't, at this moment. And then the other is personal property rights. Because once you do this, don't let it do this, then do we limit pole barns to no longer than 60 feet, no higher than 10 feet?
Marijuana.
So you can, and there are communities that do that. That's why I have stated numerous times that I'm very careful in not overzoning our township, not having all these rules, because eventually if we went around this room and there's 70 people here, I guarantee you want something that somebody else doesn't. You know what I mean? It's just, so we try to keep it very open and personal property rights. So, is that it? You good?
Yeah.
Put Justin over there, you understand?
Yes, sir.
I was just gonna point out that right now, solar farms aren't financially viable. They're only financially viable through subsidies. Therefore, if we're not the path of least resistance, very easy for the profit to go out the window.
Anybody else?
One quick comment, you keep mentioning that you don't have the right to, tell people what to do with their property, but you can tell people about blight, right?
Within reason. Within reason.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
How much latitude does the board or the planning commission have? I know setbacks and that kind of thing, but can they talk about what kind of solar farmers? I mean, there's different formations of solar farms, two-tiered and all kinds of different kinds. Do you have that, is that something that you can look at, or are you strictly stuck with, like setbacks and noise?
No, I think from talking with the attorneys, I believe it's every aspect of it. I mean, we can look at, it's within the, I'm just gonna try to find, the basis of the CREO, which is kind of the state guidelines. It's CREO, it says right here, the new guidelines detected for the state, the CREO is very narrow. So they are very narrow, they're simple, it's a 50-foot setback, it's 55 decibels, but the workable ordinance can be expanded. You see what I'm saying? And that is for our attorney with experts to tell us what, I never even thought about it. Speaking with the attorneys, they said, we're working with a sound expert right now over in Grant Township. So,
I mean, but the community will, the lawyers will listen to the community input on that.
The planning commission, the township board will listen to the community members and will express that to our attorney.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We would express the concerns, the planning commission, the chair, Nick, I'm sure Nick is mental noting all these.
Oh, yeah.
These are things that he would bring up. I am doing the same thing. And we would express this to our zoning administrator and we would express this to our attorney. These are issues, can we do something about these? These are concerns that our community has. We are, once again, I'm saying, all of us are working in your best interest.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I got one that's on the township, the cleanup that we do around here once a year or a couple times a year. Can they extend that to more than 1 day, 3 hours? Is there any way, wouldn't that help our blight issue and cleanup with people that can't make it at that time?
Okay, so we used to do 2 times a year. And with the cost of trash, and I don't wanna quote because we won't get the bill for this for another month. So we raise roughly about $98,000, maybe $100,000 a year for do trash all year round. Okay, that 1 day cost us almost 20%. So if we were to add another day, we can do it. We can do as many as you want, but we're going to have to raise your special assessment. So we do the 1 day. We have not seen, if we start filling up 5 and 6 trucks, then maybe we'll have to do, but this was started, I believe, with Brooke Schaefer.
Yep.
Was the first supervisor to do it. It went through Kevin, then it went through myself. We've got a lot of it, and then also with Junk and Blight, we strongly suggest and we give what we call the pink paper to somebody where they can bring in more than they need to throughout the year to slowly get it cleaned up too. So we are working on that. Right. Anyone else? Okay, so I'm sure, all right, so let's go to unfinished business. First Plate Beach Project. I make a motion that, well, we got the hydro seeding done. Looks good. I make a motion that we keep the hydro seeded areas fenced off until maybe the week before the 4th and open the beach with just closing the dock. Putting a sign out there that says close the dock closed, stay off. Let people swim, let people enjoy it, keep them off the dock. if I thought about putting fencing or roping, and that's just more grounding hazards. I just think the sign is, we can't put anything out there to restrict, because they get tangled up in it, then we're at fault. I would like to see that.
On an insurance, thing, we're gonna put, for now, so,
Yeah.
Isn't it always?
It's kinda always, because
there's no
we could,
light
you want a sign for that? Yeah, we
well, I mean,
There used to be one.
There might be one, we might have pulled a swim for it.
well, at least until the docks.
We got, so
Because you know people are gonna go on the park regardless.
okay, but our,
So,
You're walking across the water.
Just get something to say, stay off dock.
Stay off dock.
that way it's at least there,
It's on my desk.
not that they're gonna listen to it, but at least it's there, so if something does happen, but hey, read the sign, you know.
Yep. Yeah, we do, I'll check and see if we have the swim at your own risk sign. It might be one of the ones we took off. I thought we had those on the wall, we took all those signs off before we tore the wall
So
down.
where would we put
If
them
not,
though? Would we just put them in one spot or would we put them?
I think we put it right at the dock,
Yep.
right at the basic dock, and.
Swim at your own risk and the dock
Yep.
boats?
Well, that'll be the new diving thing for the kids to do the dock, or really.
So what you'd be able to do is you'd be able to picnic and everything along the other side of the grassy areas, but now let this grass grow. You'd be able to walk down the walkway or walk the sandway to get to the beach, enjoy, swim. I mean, God, I felt so bad we weren't open with how hot it was this last weekend, but, so. That was enjoy it. And by the way, the beach is not smaller. The concrete wall went 2.5 feet behind the old wall. The beach got bigger, Mother Nature made it small. It'll be back to normal, trust me. Just give it.
Do we need a motion or anything?
We're out of public comment. We're out of public, what?
Richard, can I just ask you, can you put a sign up there for Saturday that says, no, we always tell everybody, no fishing off from that dock?
I'm not gonna pay for a new sign.
You have one, there used to be one.
Yeah.
They don't listen anyway.
Well, the dock's closed, so they can't be on it for business.
Okay, it will be posted?
It's gonna be posted.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, so I need a motion to open, I'm gonna make a motion to open the beach area for swimming with the dock closed and with the sign, and to leave this grassy area closed until the week before the 4th. Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay. All right, new business. So, we're looking at the budget, and Star and Merrill asked me, they said, why is the streetlight bill higher? And I don't look at the individual bills, per se all the time. Why is the streetlight bill higher than this building bill? So, through numerous phone calls and about 4 or 5 days to get to the right person, I got a hold of a wonderful lady named Tina down in Jackson. And about 18 or 20 years ago, all of our sodium vapor lights were changed to halogens, and since then, some of the halogens, out of our 37, 29 have been changed to LED, and we have 8 halogens left, which are the ones in the park. So, talking with Tina, she said, well, we're going to owe you a refund. I'm like, okay, good. It's going to be a big refund. I'm like, okay. So, I got a call from Star about 3 weeks later, and we got a refund check, or a refund amount, and I'm asking the board, I believe we need to get this into a check. It will not be for this total amount, because consumers does not, they refund all your money for all the past years, and then have to rebill you for the current year in total. So we're gonna take the rebill from the last, for this year, which will probably be about $1,200 off of this, 13, I don't know for sure, I'll know that bill hopefully tomorrow. We haven't received the bill yet, have we? We did? You know the amount? Okay. So, but there's one more month that has to add on, we'll have to add this month on. So we'll have to, so there'll be a little bit.
Yeah.
So, We were overcharged $23,000. Consumers pays 5% a month, and we're getting $20,000 in interest payments back. We were getting $43,900 back.
Who called them?
I did. Okay, when I was doing the budget, the numbers did not seem right. So, we have the bill right here, negative 49,000, whatever I got, 43,901.77 cents. This will be less because the way Consumers does it, they refund you for everything, then bill you for your current year. Okay. So, this is something that went on, didn't notice it, getting more familiar with the budget. Them, Star and Merrill going, it does seem like it's been high. Currently, LED lights are $11.66 a month. Halogens are $16.62, something like that. It is not, for the $5 a month difference, is not beneficial for the cost to get them to LEDs. When they die, they will switch them to LEDs.
For free.
We are not for free. So to pay for it to be a couple, hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars. And yeah, so that's where we're at. So basically, I look at this, we just did our beach wall for half price. So that was a really big, I would kiss Tina if I could find her. I called her and I said, please explain what I'm reading here is right. And so that was a very good thing for our township. So we are okay with me paying the bill off and having a check sent back to us, because we don't want to pay the, we can credit this. I'd rather have the money back. Yeah, exactly. So, okay. Because they won't credit your whole, electric bill. They only credit to that.
Yeah, just that account.
So so that's our streetlights. We have 37 of them. Yeah, so we're good. All right, so I will call her tomorrow and get that process going. Park equipment, new grill, and picnic tables. So we've always said we were gonna do some picnic tables every year. Don't know if anybody's interested in doing it. I put it on more or less for the new grill because the one grill over by the pavilion got crushed by that tree that fell down, that dead tree. I'd like to replace that one at least. Do we want to do anything else?
I think we should get 2 grills and 2 grills.
Somebody want to make a motion for
I'll
that?
make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, so a motion to purchase 2 new grills to replace the one old one and put a new one in, and then 2 new picnic tables, because every year we upgrade a little bit to replace our rooms. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so Jason made the motion, and Nick seconded. Okay. So we're good with, putting the logs up for bid? Yes. Okay. So bids need to be dropped off here at the township, addressed to the township, and received before the next board meeting. Make them, we don't need to make a motion for that, do we? We're just gonna do it. What am I doing?
Copier.
Oh, copiers, no, I'm saying, do we need to make a motion for that, or we're just gonna sell? We don't need to make a motion for that, we just sell. So, just, anybody interested, put bids out, I'll put it on my Facebook page tonight. New copier. The old, I have not had time to really research what happened today. I would like to make a motion for an allotment of $1,500 to purchase the proper copier. Yeah, for what we need, because part of it is, what makes a copier more expensive is the large 13-inch sheets. And even the Register of Deeds are getting rid of those 13-inch sheets. We might have to print one once in a while, we can run the jack pine and get it. Right. It's not being used because it's very cumbersome in file folders and stuff. The city's not using the 13-inch sheets anymore, the county is trying to void them out. And even deeds are not coming in on the 13-inch. So we may not need one. I'm looking for the best price. I'm just asking because we need to replace it before taxes have to be printed. So I'm asking for a $1,500 allotment to purchase a new copier. If anybody else should be doing that. Well, you said you wanted to go 2,000 allotment. We'll try to find the best one we can.
So that's what I was gonna say, just because a lot of companies, if you're ordering it, they'll come out and there's an installment fee and all of that, so that's on top of the machine itself.
Okay.
I would say at least 2.
Anybody good with just 2,000? We'll try to get it for 1,000, but
Yeah.
in allotment, so we don't have up to 2,000. So Jay, you're gonna make that motion? Okay, $2,000, up to $2,000 for a
I'll
new.
second it.
Okay. And And then, Central Star. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Need a motion? Nick seconded, Merrill made it, Nick seconded, motion to adjourn meeting. All in favor? Aye. All right, thank you.